going to stop down over the weekend just to see if any of them are there. But
On now?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I want to say good evening to everyone gathered here. This is the Public Health and Safety meeting for June 16th, 2025. Gathered here this evening, we have our Township Manager, Pat Stasio, our Business Manager,
he's not in this one.
not in
Oh,
oh, yes.
there he is. Here he comes. Okay, we don't have.
Okay.
We don't need to.
Okay. And we have our township solicitor, who is Sean Kilkenny. Welcome back, Sean. Okay.
Tell us how you really feel.
First of all, we want to see if there's any non-agenda items from the public first. Any non-agenda items from the public, please.
Nobody stood up.
Nobody's here? Okay. Okay. Also, I forgot to mention that my counterpart here is Kit McFatrick, and I'm Charles Whiting. And we are going to approve the minutes for our May 16th meeting of 2025.
I have no changes.
No changes? Okay, we're gonna move it right along. Okay, without further ado, we'll have our presentations from our esteemed officers here. We're gonna have Chief Bendick. Would you please give us your report, please?
Yes, sir. I know we have several items to discuss, so I'll just give you a general summary of our department activity for the month of May. In the month of May, the police department responded to 1,931 calls for service. The top 4 calls for service were for traffic stops, medical emergency calls for service, and suspicious circumstances. A total of 89 crimes were reported. 46 criminal arrests were made during the month of May. The police department investigated 75 traffic crashes, 14 of which were reportable crashes, resulting in 9 injuries. Officers conducted 626 traffic stops, issued 271 bus patrol violations. Also, additionally, they conducted 194 selective enforcements within the municipality. Other police-related activity, the department engaged in over 1,000 hours of training hours this past month. Additionally, officers checked 25 vacant homes within the municipality. Several notable investigations, which I know are in the report. I did want to add, again, we've had numerous commendations and letters received for our personnel for their work being done in our community over the past few months, specifically this month as well. As far as any interesting events, upcoming events for the department, we'll be hosting a 2-night teen driver safety seminar in our municipal building, the first of which is tomorrow night, the second of which is following Tuesday the 24th, starting at 6 p.m. This seminar will be covering impaired driving and general driver safety top topics for teens. This will also include a practical mock traffic stop for teens that are attending. Additionally, our Junior Police Academy is scheduled from July 30th to July 31st this year at Pileggi Park from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Registration is available through the Upper Moreland Township Parks and Recreation Department website. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from commissioners, from chief?
I have none.
Any public comments for the chief?
Nobody.
Nobody. Okay. Chief Glassman, please.
Thank you, Commissioners. My pleasure to report the May 2025 Fire Department report. There were 91 calls for service. The yearly total is 468. Total fees we've collected is $39,677. 14 fire marshal investigations. We installed 4 smoke detectors. We have 5 events with 120 people. One of the events was a Girl Scout troop to the firehouse. We had 30 personnel for training for 275 hours. I was privileged to attend the recruit graduation class for 4 new firefighters. A couple of them were introduced at the previous commissioners meeting. They're doing really well and coming to calls. It's very important. We're trying to capture a couple more. We have a nice thank you letter from Huntington Valley Library. And on the emergency management side, participated in the Eastern Monco meeting, the county meeting, and many June Fate meetings. And I would like to say thank you very much publicly to the police department and everybody else in the township that worked very, very hard to make that event happen. There was a lot of hours and a lot of planning that went into that, and we'll talk further next month because that's technically a June event. But that concludes my response, pending any questions.
Any commissioner comments for Chief Glassman? No. Any public comments for Chief Glassman? Yeah, Chief, we want to publicly thank the police department and the fire department for planning and all that went on for June feet. It was a success. Thank you because of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our second alarmers are not here tonight.
I don't have a report to review in front of me for you.
You don't have one?
I do not have a report in front of me to review.
No problem. Thank you very much.
They did include it in their packet, but if you have any questions, I'll be sure to forward them over to the second alarmers.
They're in the process of their solicitation drive, though, so if you get an envelope from them, send them some money. We have no old business, but we have some new business. And we're going to start with Steve Bendick. We're going to talk about the stop signs, please.
Yes, sir. At the May 12th Public Health and Safety meeting, a request was made to install a 4-way stop sign at Parkside Avenue and Magnolia Avenue. This proposal was investigated by the Police Department's Traffic Safety Unit for consideration. Based upon a recent speed study and available crash data, the placement of this stop sign at the intersection does not meet PennDOT's warrants standards. At this time, the department does not recommend the installation of this 4-way stop sign at Parkside Avenue and Magnolia Avenue. Again, there is the alternative that we could do that if the commissioners deem appropriate. I did ask Officer Meisner from our Traffic Safety Unit to come to the meeting this evening. If anyone had any questions or concerns, he can speak to this a little bit more in depth, as he is the individual the officer that conducted the evaluation of this intersection.
Okay. Any commissioner comments for Officer Cobb? Officer?
I would just say, if they are not recommending it, I would not be for it. But is there anything else we can do for that intersection? That would, for safety.
So in our township's traffic calming handbook, it lays out different levels of measures that we could take. This would what would be qualified as a level 1 measure. Items like simply lining the roadway to make it appear more narrow, making people less comfortable with driving at higher speeds. If we got more in depth into the traffic study, you'd see that the speeding problem is very low. The 85th percentile speed is just about the speed limit. So the majority of vehicles are not traveling at enforceable speeds, which is a great thing. If the residents are still concerned about that, we could take smaller measures like painting the roadway, including those fog lines on both sides to narrow traffic, making, not designated parking spaces for particular residences, but parking areas off to the side, which makes the roadway more narrow, and people generally travel at lower speeds, given those. The level 2 recommendations, we are way below those guidelines according to our traffic calming manual. It doesn't rise nearly to any of those levels, which would be major roadway improvements like speed humps or adding chicanes or things like that.
Okay.
Any public comments?
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah, I was just going to ask Officer Meisner just to summarize, some of the findings. And like you said, if there's, anything else that, they could do what you explained.
Sure. So later last year, I believe it was September, I got a request from multiple residents to do a traffic study on Magnolia at Parkside. The request was for stop signs to slow traffic. Stop signs are explicitly forbidden from being used to slow traffic in the Manual for Uniform Traffic Control Devices, which is the federal standard, which has been adopted by PennDOT. And we have adopted PennDOT's guidelines, so we inherently adopt the federal standard. I conducted 2 traffic studies on the roadway, one to see if a stop sign was warranted, speed aside, and another to see if there was a speeding problem. The numbers for the speeds on that roadway were a 25th percentile speed of 26.21 miles per hour. The speed limit on Magnolia is 25 miles an hour, so we're doing very well as far as that's concerned. The number of vehicles that traveled at an enforceable speed were 0.2%. So if we were to sit there for days on end, we might be able to pull over one car that was traveling at greater than the enforceable speed standard. So we're doing well. As far as the stop sign studies, stop signs are designed to regulate the flow of traffic at an intersection, meaning that a primary road or the road that's traveled more frequently does not get a stop sign that allows traffic to flow, where the minor road would have to stop. In an instance where traffic was equal on both roads, you would have it would qualify for a 4-way stop. In this instance, traffic volumes on Magnolia were just about double that of Parkside. Parkside currently has stop signs where Magnolia does not. It's currently signed appropriately according to the federal standard.
Is there any crash data?
There is 0 crashes in 5 years,
Okay.
0 crash.
which is a big factor.
Yeah.
Pedestrian traffic is also a factor that you look at. If there's one way that specifically has a flow of pedestrian traffic versus the other, and the volume is not, coinciding with what the stop sign recommendation would be, it would also possibly justify a 4-way stop. But in that neighborhood, pedestrians, dog walkers, kids getting off the school bus, it's equal on all aspects.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other public or commissioner comments regarding this? No. So we won't move it on at this
No.
time. Okay. You want to talk to us, Sean, about the nuisance ordinance, please?
Yes, sir. In April, a request was made to investigate the feasibility of a public nuisance ordinance similar to those enacted in other Pennsylvania communities. A township official of a Pennsylvania municipality with a similar ordinance was consulted for further explanation. It was determined that this ordinance in their municipality is primarily used in his community to address police response to nuisances involving rental properties. Additionally, the township solicitor was asked to review the concept of a nuisance law. Our solicitor's office has presented the option of exploring the expansion of the nuisance definition under Chapter 223 of the Code as a possible resolution to these concerns that were raised. There are several alternatives that we can, at least the commissioners can discuss and at least determine what they feel will be most appropriate. The first will be move towards crafting an ordinance, a public nuisance ordinance. We could possibly explore the expansion of the nuisance definition under the current code of the township, or the township commissioners could take no action. At this time, we're looking for further direction from the commissioners as to what they would like us to do from this perspective.
Sean?
Yes, our experience with these kind of ordinances unfortunately are not good. And the reason being is, under the Pennsylvania United States Constitution, people have a right to petition their government. So when you start to restrict those rights, there have often been lawsuits where there could be a chilling effect where it's come up in domestic violence and other scenarios where people make calls, they're afraid that they will be kicked out of a residence and such. I've been involved in 2 different municipalities that sued and then got sued and ended up getting settling after enacting these kind of ordinances. So if the board did want to move forward on this, I would strongly recommend we be very, very cautious.
My recommendation is the police have to enforce our rules. Do you think it's necessary, and do you want this?
At this point in time, no, sir. I did an analysis of the number of noise complaints that we've had in the community since the beginning of the year. I have 61 to date. They're not specific to any location or anything of that nature. I think at this point in time, we are policing it appropriately. I think we can manage the way the township ordinance is constructed and move forward there. If there's any further issue or concern, we can readdress that at a later time.
Okay, we'll call it a day then.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay, Chief Glassman, you're talking about our grant.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. I'm requesting permission to apply for the State Fire Commissioner grant. The State Fire Commissioner has announced a grant for career-only fire departments. We anticipate on applying for upgrades to complete the building projects. As you're aware, we've been awarded some ARPA funding, and this will complete the projects that we started with the ARPA funding. If awarded, we will upgrade the flooring on the second floor of the south building. We'll have a new HVAC installed in the north building, gear washer, and some IT upgrades. There are no matching funds required from the township, and the grant application comes in right around $78,000. So if we're awarded this, we will have effectively renovated both buildings for many years with almost no township funding. We've done it all with grants. This gets awarded.
That is good news to hear.
Can't complain.
Okay, so,
So we're just looking for permission to apply.
you got permission to apply.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And on that good note, is there any other commissioner comments or?
The only thing I'll say is thank you to the staff, Pat, all the way down through the police and the fire, and our actual officers from both of them at the June fete. And actually, thank you to the hospital also, because they did make some concessions of some recommendations that our departments asked them for. It all went well as far as the public knows, and it ended up being a great event. Okay, thank you very much.
And with that, we're going to leave on a positive note. This meeting is now adjourned. Have a good night, all.